And now, Metacritic tries to review Celeste. Overrated garbage. Nothing special, nothing new. Ugly looking pixel graphics and annoyingly difficult and boring gameplay. This is the game which makes me think that game reviewers might be bribed to write good review. Such a shame. Very overrated. Music is simple, gameplay is rough, and characters aren't so interesting and deep as everybody says. After 30 years of this genre, I expected something a little more interesting. The difficulty controls are nice, but the gameplay is outdated and the content repetitive. A little more effort on the visuals would have been appreciated as well. The visuals would have been appreciated as well. I did not pay hundreds of dollars for a superior game system to have graphics that look like they were developed in the 1800s. There is nothing charming or innovative about a boring platform game with a horrible retro look. I also believe that Metacritic is getting far too political in their reviews. I rarely read or rely on them any longer. Difficult? Definitely. Fun? Only if you enjoy the difficulty. If you don't, assist mode doesn't really make it much more fun, since it doesn't assist with the timing, other than giving you the option to slow everything down, including dying. It looks slightly better when it's under daylight, but still much worse than Mario World on SNES. It's nowhere around the hype blind fanboys make up to be. Keep this in mind or you'll get disappointed. And people talk about when you buy AAA games, you look for demonstration. Innovation is what indie capable of, except I don't see any innovation in most award-winning indie games. There is only connection made through social gatherings. Very difficult, frustrating, repetitive game, poor graphics, uglier than 8-bit console game graphics. This is unacceptable nowadays. Overhyped garbage. Story is an absolute cringe-filled, cliche-infused tale about mental illness. Lol. Anyone that thinks this story is in any way thought-provoking is indeed mentally ill. Don't get me started on the gameplay. Whose genius idea was it to make it so when you die, you have to wait a couple of seconds every time for the level's obstacles to rearrange themselves so you can actually get through? Idiots and buffoons enjoy this game. Waste of money. Do not buy. In regards to visuals, the animation is good and one of the best aspects of this game, but is a letdown by the off-putting graphics. Somehow, they didn't get the color right. It looks kind of unsaturated. You have bright neon colors. What do you mean by this? The characters look weird, but the added visual effects make them really bizarre and distracting. A very overrated game with nothing too special. The great feature here is the soundtrack, which is really good. But the rest of the game is just like any other indie shovelware. Holy fuck, did you just call it shovelware? It would deserve a 6, but maybe a 7, but I gave it a 4, because the saddest thing is that the game is hyped by the specialized media, just because the political views and connections of the author, which is a very disgusting fact. Coming from games like Hollow Knight and The Messenger, I was pretty disappointed about spending $20 on this game. Thanks, Hype Machine. Unlike HK or TM, this game controls like a turd. I do not like perfection engines, so this game is not really for me. This is sort of like an opposite Dark Souls. The bonus collectibles have no value, so there's no point in getting them unless you like extending the pain more. Great concept. My son who loves Super Meat Boy loves it, but it left me frustrated and annoyed. Imagine fucking having a game your son loved and then like playing it, being like, I'm mad that he has fun. I'm gonna leave a bad fucking review on the internet. I heard this game was a difficult platformer in the likes of Shovel Knight and Super Meat Boy. Unfortunately, what I got was a fairly meh game with unfinished concepts such as the strawberries you can collect that have no function whatsoever, not a lot of difficulty, and very bland and unoriginal art style. This game looks good at the start, but soon turns way too repetitive. The difficulty does not make you rage in a way that is rewarding after you completed it. What does that mean? All it did was make me frown the whole way through. It was so boring, repeating a stage over and over again, and getting nothing out of it besides a useless berry that does not do anything. I see free online games better than this platformer. With clunky controls and boring levels, this is a game I do not recommend. I don't understand the hype. It is one of the most boring and repetitive games I've ever played. I'm also really tired of this ugly pixel graphics.
Nothing special here.
10 out of 10, you people are out of your minds! TLDR, if you usually don't like extremely difficult 2D platformers, but you're thinking that with all these rave reviews, maybe you should buy it and see what all the fuss is about, stop right there. Do not buy this game. It will be a painful waste of money. If you're looking for a challenge and hate yourself, buy this game and waste your life on it. Please. The story, meh. Common tropes about overcoming personal weakness. That makes it a standout game? Are you serious? Tight controls? Absolutely not. The more difficult levels, one screen is one level typically, rely too much on luck to complete. You can find yourself rehashing the same jump attempt for 20 minutes. And when you succeed, you have no idea what you did different that time. That's luck, not skill. Which means that this game is a failure at developing skill in players via play. It also means the Switch analog stick is a horrible input method for performing such fine movements. The art, if you usually don't like pixelated art in games, this game is in no way going to change your mind. I hate pixelated graphics. I don't care if it takes more effort to make. It looks awful. And if you're going to be making players replay the exact same move over and over again for 10 minutes on the exact same screen until they get lucky, the screen should be beautiful to look at. The music, actually very good. I bumped up my score a full point for music. The other 3 points are pity points. Some people worked very hard to make this title, and even though it gulls me that a game this bad is one of the highest rated games on Switch, the fact that they made a game that some people seem to really enjoy is worth something. Mario games have charm and soul. This game is an ugly, repetitious bore that tricks players into thinking they've achieved something when success is too often dependent on luck. I can't help but wonder how many of these high scores were bought.